What's mission prep? Tell me what that's all about.
Dumb lost it. Thank you for joining us. It's over. Edit this out. We're done.
This is so cool for everything. I don't miss what I don't miss. God damn it! Is being a Bravo 4 in Alaska, because when you're on field problems, people are sleeping in tents, and the snipers get to sleep in the cold weather sleeping bags under a fucking tree, under a poncho, and get cold weather injuries. Like,
we got to keep you guys tough.
Exactly. That's all. What
soft sleeping in the tent.
You get soft. Exactly. Like it. Yeah. So many, like, I don't know how many times I've had chilblain, but definitely fucked me up because I get really, really cold now. I just start getting it super easy, So it's like, whatever. That happened to me, like, even by the time I got into Ranger school, because I went in January, and I came out of that fucking zip line dive, dude, and I was like, I'm fucked. Because you came right out and you grab your shit and you just go run. I think it was like 3 miles back or whatever, 2 miles back. And I was just like, fucked up. I was like, it's only 50 degrees right now, but I was already had stuff with, from before and after my first deployment from training there, but which wasn't much better because I don't know what was worse, that or being in a fucking ghillie suit in like July and August. And
it's true. It's a trade. I think I'd rather, I don't know. I'm a cold weather guy.
Yeah.
I say that, but like there's nobody who's comfortable with like extreme cold conditions, like Mountain Phase, like Dahlonega, Georgia, in the middle of dead fucking winter, on top of those peaks. Like, I don't think anyone's like, oh, this isn't bad. It's that like that weather's cold for fucking everybody.
Yeah.
I think we had like 7. It must have been like an extra cold night, but we had like 7 people we had evacuated off the top. I forget the name of the mountain. It's like sort of, it's like named after a bird or something, like Eagle Ridge or something like that.
Okay.
We had to fly 7 people out for hypothermia that night. That was insane.
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh.
So I am going to introduce you. This is a new thing. We weren't introducing our guests.
Those are rude.
We were just rolling into it like we just did. But then I noticed with a couple guests, they like look over at us like, well, fuck me, I guess. You're not going to
you better introduce me because no one knows who I am.
I will. So our guest is Neal Currey. I just blanked.
Yeah, see, nobody knows who I am.
Nobody knows.
He offered you coffee, goddammit.
He doesn't own one of like the coolest gun stores I've ever seen. But no, so he's the owner of Ready Gunner in Orem, Utah. And we traveled over here today to sit down and talk with him. So
appreciate you guys making the trip.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us come here.
It was easy for me. I just sat here. You guys had to drive.
Yeah, we when we started this, it started with like just our friends, stuff I got in my garage. And then we built like this little studio, and then we started kind of getting some people we didn't know in person to come on.
Plus, we started off with we know people.
Yeah,
our friends are actually cool people.
Yeah, we do have some like really interesting friends, which was good for us in the beginning. And then like Kevin from the military world, a lot of veterans with really cool stories, stuff like that. But then I think Kevin was the one that had the idea. He's like, God, we should do some like traveling ones. Go actually meet some of these people in person. So we were trying to set that up, and so you're our first like kind of long trip.
Oh, awesome! So, glad to be the first.
You're first, yeah.
I can't remember your last name when I'm introducing you, but I came all the way here for you. So
it's like I always tell Curry like the Spice. I could have been one of the Spice Girls.
You could have. No, and what your Instagram is just Neal. So
it is just Neal. Yeah, just Neal. The cool way.
Not the Neil.
Not the Neil. Yeah,
fucking nerds.
Oh, shit. But yeah, so
I paid a kid like $250 for it.
For the name on there.
This is like, I thought about it. You remember when websites first came out? Like everybody was wanting their own unique domain name, and then people were buying domain names and then selling them back to the companies who really belonged to for ridiculous amounts of money. I'm like, that's going to be Instagram. And this is like very pre-Facebook-ish, before obviously Facebook bought Instagram.
Yeah.
And Instagram, it was cool, but it wasn't like what it is now. So I'm like, I'm going to go and I'm going to get all these unique names. I'm like, I wonder if someone has my name, Neal. So I just went, searched it. And it was this artistic dude who like posted all these photos of all this art he's made. And he was actually really good. I'm like, there's no way this guy's going to sell me his page, because he's actually got a decent page. And so I'm like, but hey, it doesn't hurt to ask, right? So I sent him a message. I'm like, hey, would you be willing to sell your Instagram page I'm like, not your page. Like, you can keep your page. I just want your name. And he's like, I don't know. What are you offering? So I'm like, I'll give you $250. The guy lost his mind. He's like, are you kidding me? You're going to pay me $250 for an Instagram page?
Yeah.
And then at that point, I'm like, oh shit, did I offer too much money?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, now
I'm like, am I the dumb one?
Yeah.
I imagine that's probably more common now.
Oh,
People
right.
buying
I've had people
funny
offer me
names.
$10,000 for it now.
Have you?
What?
Yeah, because I know
And,
my name on there. It's Jake Calhoun 1 because Jake Calhoun's taken, and it's once again some young kid. I never did message him. I should give you $10. Give me my name.
See,
Yeah.
mine's just Kevin Sommer.
You gotta offer it in V-Bucks. That's the new, like, I'll give you 500 V-Bucks.
Yeah, I'll give you
from the
a
Fortnite. If
Bitcoin.
they're like under the age of 15.
Yeah.
Well, it's the thing too. I was trying to like keep mine somewhat mature. So but obviously my name was taken. So I was like, okay, it's just Kevin Sommer, and that wasn't taken. But my original idea was just to go with Dr. Cutthroat because it's super immature and that's my
I
personality.
was gonna
Like,
say, isn't that your name on like
when
you used to play video games?
yeah, when I was in the barracks, like 2008 or 2008, I was in the barracks playing Call of Duty, and my name was Dr. Cutthroat, and that was like the first one. Like on my name on it was Dr. Cutthroat, not like any numbers after it. It's still on there. Like I'm the original Dr. Cutthroat. But I was like, okay, I'm like in my 30s now. I got to be mature. I can't just go around fucking throwing stupid ass names around like that.
I don't know. I'd keep it.
Yeah.
Mine, at least yours was cool. It's, like you get killed and it says Dr. Cutthroat killed you. It's like pretty badass.
Yeah.
Mine was Sandstorm. Like pretty basic and lame. And it was like, oh, Sandstorm killed me. I guess it is a little more insulting, but I was in Iraq, same thing in the hoods playing Call of Duty. We all had our little system link going on, middle of a sandstorm. So we're all just kind of bunkered in. And I'm like, oh, I'll just go with Sandstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty lame.
Like I actually got the idea because we were watching that shitty ass show when we were in Iraq in 2008, The Unit.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the Snake Doctor. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like they had cool names, but it was such a fucking ridiculous show.
They're all better than mine
Because they're CAD guys and they're running around in like plain Jane ACUs and like Kevlars. They're all crooked and shit. Like
It was kind of cheesy.
yes. Oh man. Like that stuff bothers me. It's just
There was a scene. This is the one scene I remember from The Unit. It was entertaining. So I watched it. It was fun. It was entertaining. I like the actors in it. There was one scene where this guy was pinned down inside of a building behind a desk, and there was sniper fire coming through the window, and he would do like literally, talking out loud. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down, and then the sniper would shoot. Like, I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. You know that saying you say in the military, but he was actually saying it. And then I'm up, he sees me, and then I'm down, and then the sniper shoots and misses him because he's down, right? It's like that's the rhythm of the shot, I guess. But anyways, it was kind of funny and cheesy.
Kevin has ruined military movies and stuff for me because I was never in the military, so I'm like, I'm gonna like the fucking Hurt Locker. Okay. I like that movie. I've never been in the military.
I'm gonna repeat. I'll probably just bring this up every podcast now because I might as well since there's so many vets on. Because the one scene that kills me about that movie the most.
I already know what you're gonna talk about.
Yep, I know because it hits home for me.
Where he leaves the fob?
Oh, that
to go on his own little. Hey, I'm just gonna go down to the local Kmart.
I'm just gonna go do whatever I want to do. You want to prance around? You fucking idiot!
Put my hoodie on.
Yeah, no, it's the scene where this car, a potential V-bid, goes through I can't remember if it's Army Marine checkpoint. Like, and I keep on explaining, people go into military with problems already. They already want to kill people before they've joined. Everyone wants an excuse to take a 50 cal and rock a dude's car up with it. Because it just flies by the checkpoint and then some EOD dick just raises his pistol and he fucking stops. Get the fuck out of here. That checkpoint would have lit that fucker up real quick. Like that's so unrealistic. I don't think directors and producers understand how mentally twisted we are sometimes.
Yeah, but if you would have got stopped at the checkpoint, then you couldn't have had that dramatic scene with the pistol guy, you know, who just
And then people like me need to be entertained when I'm watching it.
You're right. I mean, the thing got awards, I guess. So.
Well, no, like I just tried to watch I was telling Kevin about this, that new Michael B. Jordan movie. It's on Hulu. No, it's on Amazon.
Oh, No Remorse.
Yeah.
I watched it the other night. It's actually pretty good.
Which I got like about half hour, 45 minutes in. I was like, I don't know. I turned off. I was just telling him, like, I might go back and give it a chance. Because what got me is when that scene where he lights the car on fire at the airport.
That was kind of cheesy.
And then when he gets out,
it's like, well, the best thing is he lights it on fire. They can't get out, but he can somehow get in. Like
so it was that.
Like they put the childproof locks on for the.
And then when he does get out, I'm military. Like that's gonna stop them from
No.
Yeah.
taking you in.
It would have been worse if they were MPs because he says they're military and he would have fucked his ass up.
But
So there's actually a guy, Buck Doyle. Do you know who he is? He actually
Mm-mm.
down south in Utah. So he did a lot of the training with the Michael Jordan
oh, really?
actor. And that guy's awesome.
Dude, he got fucking jacked for that movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think I made it to. He has that fight in the prison cell with all the guards. That's as far as I made it, and it was getting late. I'm like,
Oh, see that's where it gets good.
So I
after
really
that
need
is
to-
when it starts.
I need to
getting
go back and try it again because,
Okay.
like the airport scene, I was like, okay,
Have you
this
seen
is
it?
Stupid.
No, I haven't
Not
yet.
yet.
It's pretty good. The tactics are pretty good. Buck Doyle knows what he's doing, and it was entertaining. I actually like Michael Jordan, the actor, a lot. He's in a lot of good movies. He was like a pretty salt of the earth kind of guy. So
Yeah, he was in Black Panther, wasn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, he was
So,
the
he? The bad,
bad
one.
guy. I forget
Yeah.
his name, but
Yeah.
there was I was reading this thing where all the Marvel comic nerds think that I forget his name, but the actor who played Black Panther who died
Mhm.
of cancer, unfortunately.
Chadwick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chadwick. Yeah,
Yeah.
super
was
cool guy. They're like Michael Jordan should somehow have some kind of play in the movie where he takes a place of the Black Panther.
Oh.
But I thought he would have been a good Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard they're bringing back Blade. Speaking of like black superheroes, they're gonna redo Blade,
Wesley Snipes,
but they're not
Blade
gonna
or-
do it with Wesley Snipes,
Mm.
which he was the best. But I heard Marvel's doing another Blade.
Really?
Wow.
Which when I was a kid and like the first Blade came out, I didn't even know that was a Marvel thing.
See, Marvel. I'm gonna watch it because Marvel's movies, I mean, politics aside, right? They've done an awesome job.
Mhm.
Like the remakes of a lot of the movies they've done are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. My kids love them. I enjoy them. They're entertaining.
Yeah.
And nowadays, outside, I was gonna say you really can't watch a military movie with the military guy, but like I was that guy after the military.
Mhm.
I feel like now, and maybe it's my wife has kind of warned me out of it because the looks I give her when I try to like, oh my gosh, that's so fucking lame. Like you don't hold a gun like that. She's like, can I just watch the fucking movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I don't even say anymore. So now maybe she's corrected me where I'm just looking for some entertainment.
You're just gonna.
Yeah.
Well, he can enjoy the movies
No,
that he
I-
says are stupid, but
I watched like 3 days in a row just because I was studying for finals right now for this week. And I've been watching Heartbreak Ridge. I love that movie. I don't even mind that at the end of the movie they're just running around hip firing fucking M4s or M16s. Like that's cool, man. It's entertaining.
you
You know?
gotta take it for what it's worth with
Yeah.
entertainment. I think.
And honestly, the movie's just good because as cheesy as it is, it's just a good movie, in its own right, But yeah,
Yeah.
entertainment.
That's it. Entertainment, not too many lulls. I don't know maybe if it's military, but I just need constant action. Those are the movies I like.
Me too.
Yeah.
Where you're like, fuck, the movie's over,
Yeah.
Not like, oh man, when's the next action scene? Because it's been kind of slow for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's why I love John Wick. I could watch all three of those over and over and over.
The third one with that knife fight scene, just it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the dogs
They're
in
good
it,
at
too.
they're good at just not making the same thing over and over again. They're adapting it as they go along.
Yeah.
To keep it kind of
Yeah.
entertaining.
The third one, however, is probably my least favorite.
Is it?
Yeah.
The scene at the end where he gets thrown through the glass like 75
Oh, yes.
times. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
Come on.
you could tell they did it for the sake of being funny. Because as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is hilarious. I'm like, I think this is why they were doing it. Because
Yeah.
it's so repetitive.
Well, even the guys who was fighting were like being kind of comical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
During that.
Yeah.
But- so I want to kind of go back to some of the stuff we were talking about before we turn the mics on with you. So what's your background, like military background?
So I joined the military 2004. It was kind of like a long decision to make after 9/11. But eventually went in, joined the Army, went in with an option 40 contract to go to battalions, the Ranger, 75th Ranger Regiment. Went through that basic AIT, airborne, RIP, and joined 2nd Ranger Battalion, got assigned to Fort Lewis, did 3 deployments, 1 Afghanistan, 2 Iraqs with the Rangers. And then after I got out and tried the civilian life a little bit, like I was telling you guys before, it was kind of hard to make that adjustment and just working regular jobs. Ended up going back, went through the WIPS program down in Louisiana with Triple Canopy and did 2 more deployments to Iraq with Triple Canopy, 2 or 3, maybe 3 more deployments with Triple Canopy for about a year and a half. So this was actually when Obama was president. I was on, if you look at this flag, this was signed by all my teammates.
Well,
I was on the counter assault team, CAT team for a couple of years. And Biden came into country, I think 2 or 3 times while we were there. So we were on his second, obviously Secret Service is his first ring of defense. And then you have his second ring, which was us. And then third ring, which was military. This guy had so much freaking security when he came to country, it was ridiculous. But so we were on his detail for, the couple times he came in town. And But yeah, it was fun. And then got out. This is when I was playing Call of Duty. It was in my triple canopy hooch.
Okay.
And filed for my FFL, got my federal firearms license, came home, met with the ATF. They gave me the whole rundown of like, this is what you need to do. Started my own business.
Isn't it the AFT?
If correct, yes, AFT.
Oh, shit.
I haven't made a cool acronym up for it, but I'll think about it. But yeah, the AFT came in and ran my business out of my home, turned into, I feel like I've told this story so many times where now like I rush through it because I'm like, if anyone's ever listened to a podcast with me on it,
This story's been told.
This story's been told. So did basement sales. My HOA kicked me out because I was selling guns at my basement, and that's super scary, right? Started a 1,000 square foot retail store in Provo and did that for a couple of years, and then eventually moved into this spot up here. We got 20,000 square feet, full range, everything. So it's been awesome.
Are you from Utah?
I am originally just up the road in Provo.
Okay,
Wow.
cool. Yeah, yeah, that's one thing. Like from following your social media for as long as I have, like I was telling you, probably since you started this, the thing that always stood out was your range. And you see the videos of people on your range and shit. And I'm like, that place. One of these days, I want to go check that place out. So it's cool to be here.
Yeah, I'll give you a tour after. But the range has been awesome for us as far as content creation. I mean, to be able to walk 30 seconds from the office and go and shoot a 50 cal.
Yeah, that's cool.
In your range. Not that that's preferred to shoot a 50 BMG inside. It's hard on the ears, but it's a good way to dust. I mean, you shoot the 50 cal in there and you just watch it dust come from the rafters. It's awesome.
I bet. I've never shot a 50 cal.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the biggest gun I've ever shot is your long gun.
Oh man,
Kevin's
we'll
long gun.
have to get you
6.5.
behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a
Pretty cool.
6.5, so there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to sound or especially when it's suppressed.
Yeah.
The first time I ever shot a 50, obviously, was at cyber school, but I remember the first time I shot it, it was like you had to warm up to it. I used to with the Barrett, the very first shot you'd shoot every time you went out and shot it was like you got punched in the face.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I was like, fuck,
And-
all right. Like, I'm up.
And it's not so much the recoil. Like everybody gets behind this. The M107, the Barrett M107A1, right? So it's this, and it's the short barrel. It's a 20-inch, not the 29-inch. And everyone's like, "Oh man, it's gonna hurt my shoulder," and everyone gets all scared. I'm like, the best place to be on the M107A1 is behind the gun. Is to be the guy pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
If you're anywhere, like if you ever see the brake on that thing, it probably weighs like 10 pounds. And it has the ports that are slanted and they come back angle toward, on the outside of the gun. So if you're standing, and most people when they're filming, like that's the exact angle they're at, they're just sitting in that kill zone, filming their buddy shoot the 50 cal. And the footage is always like, you see the boom and then the phone like comes off target. And then, I'm like, hey, just stand behind them.
Yeah.
So, but the recoil isn't bad at all. I wouldn't say it's any worse than a 12 gauge. If not,
No.
I think that's how I found out about you guys was other people recording content here. And I think it's been like 4 or 5 years I've been following you.
We've been blessed. We've had a ton of people visit us. I mean, anybody who's, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Utah. We're good friends with Jim Staley over at Tat Gas, and he's doing all the Call of Duty shoots and stuff now. So he always has people coming in for that. And typically sometimes they'll come down and we'll do shoots with them here.
That's cool. Yeah.
So,
Nowadays social media is how you do a business, but we talked about this with Mike from Sons of Liberty Gunworks. What you guys do for a living on social media now, it's like looked down upon by the social media companies.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it's probably hard to promote your business when your business is guns.
Yeah.
It sucks because that's the best form of promotion nowadays.
It's a gallery for us, right? People have all these functions on social media, Facebook and Instagram, where you can promote boosts, you can do paid advertisements, you can do all kinds of promotions, you can do a freaking online store, tag product. Like none of those features are available to us.
That sucks.
Like the only thing we have is it's a gallery. And if you come to Ready Gunner, we're a gun store. And if we post a picture of something, then it's like, it's for sale.
Yeah.
We took a picture of it. It's in store. We sell this stuff, but we can't tell you we sell this stuff.
Yeah.
All we like the caption is, hey, check out this cool new, B&T APC 223. Cool, huh?
Yeah. But you can't say, hey, it's for sale.
But we can't say, hey, for sale. Here's the price. Check out our website.
Yeah.
Like the link in our bio typically leads to our website. I'm surprised that hasn't been removed, but it's just very nonchalant type of marketing and advertising. But like I said, most people who follow Ready Gunner know we're a gun store.
Yeah.
And if we're posting a picture of something, there's probably a chance that it's in stock or you could buy it from us. So give us a call, give us an email, send us a DM or something. So.
Well, now I think we talked about this with Mike also, because we were talking about selling guns. Nowadays, like podcasting, still kind of the Wild West. You can say pretty much whatever the hell you want to say, and it goes out there to the people. So getting on like podcasts and stuff could be big for you, especially like, I mean, you've been on like Free Range. I've heard you on there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people listening to you, and then they find out what you do and hopefully come your way.
Yeah, and even with the restrictions that we face, we do a lot of business, not through social media, but because of social media. I mean, I tell this story, and it's not uncommon. This isn't the first time we've had this happen. We had somebody who showed up here, and he's like, "Hey, I follow you on social media." It was him and his family. We follow you on social media. We just wanted to come out and check the place. I'm like, "Awesome. What are you guys doing in town?" And he's like, "Oh, we're just on a road trip." I'm like, "Where are you guys from?" He's like, "North Carolina." I'm like, "Holy shit, that's a long drive."
Yeah,
I'm like, "So what have you guys seen? Like, what's your end state? Where are you guys going?" They're like, "Well, we just came to see you guys." I'm like, you rented a fucking Winnebago and drove it from North Carolina to Ready Gunner just to visit we're a gun store, Ready Gunner. Yeah, we follow you guys. You are awesome. And now I feel like I have to host this guy for the whole fucking day, you know? Because I'm like, well, shit, this guy just drove across like 7 states to see me. Like, I need to take you to dinner or something. Anyway, we've kept in touch, like super cool guys, super cool family. And I'm sure obviously they saw a lot of other stuff on the trip. It wasn't just like Ready Gunner, turn around, turn and burn back home. But, and you know, we've had people who've driven from pretty far away to come see us. And
that's awesome.
And it's one of the biggest things that I love about the business is the people, you know, most of the people, I should say.
Yeah.
You get some weirdos that come in, you know, but.
Well, you talk about like weirdos when we were talking about getting guests for the podcast, and like, I'm a fan of guns. Kevin's way bigger fan of guns than me because he knows more about them. And we talked about getting some guys in the gun industry on. But I'm sure you know, in that world, you can get some wackos on either end of the spectrum.
Yeah, and I love them all. Don't get me wrong. I love them all, and we're all a little bit different, and that's okay. That's what makes us human. But yeah, I mean, we meet all kinds of people. It's not, I shouldn't say weirdos per se, but there's just people who think that I just sit here all day long and I could talk for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I spend as much time as I can with people, but at the end of the day, there are some tasks I should probably accomplish during my time at work. And I very respectfully tried to, you know, pass them on to somebody else. But yeah, I love the people. You meet some awesome people in the industry, even the local people here. Like this is my favorite thing really is meeting my local neighbors, like people here who live in Utah County. And I get to see them and talk to them. And a lot of them are other business owners. And, you know, we've done some joint ventures and things like that and little gatherings, little car shows. I mean, whatever you want. We just did one with BRCC, who technically is our neighbor up north. But yeah, that's probably the best part.
That's cool. And also like when it comes to like meeting all these different people, I guarantee you meet people politically that don't agree with you, but still like guns.
Yeah.
And that's actually a conversation I had with my wife, because she's like, hey, you should get like different types of people on your podcast, which I agree with. And she's like, how come lately it's like a bunch of right-wing people? I'm like, you think because they like guns or they own a gun store, they're super right-wing? They're not. And she's like, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm like judging people, you know, and there's nothing wrong with being right-wing or left-wing, but it's the judgment of somebody because they like one thing. Like,
I would have to disown half my family.
I
don't know if you watched my story the other day
about your mom.
Yes.
Yep, I did watch that.
So my mom is a I don't want to say like a raging liberal, but she's a Democrat, you know. So every time she walks, because she comes to the store, she visits me at work. She likes to see the business, and I think it makes her proud that her son has his own business, or you know, he's I don't want to say successful, let's say semi-successful. And she walks into my office, and this is what she sees, and she's always like, she calls me Nilo, why do you need so many guns? So my mom's Argentine.
Okay.
So she was born in Argentina. She actually moved to the US when she was like early 20s, going to college here to BYU. And so she gives me a hard time, like, why do you need so many guns? That's kind of overkill. I'm like, because I can. I mean, I like guns, and like there's gear junkies out there, and you know, like gear junkies who have tons of gear, just random shit that they probably will never even use. Or guys who collect tools, like, man, I got like the biggest tool chest in my garage, and it's full of like all the DeWalt stuff, and I got the Makitas, and I got everything. And it's like, dude, do you really need like 7 hammer drills? Like, I was like, well, no, but like, you know, so it's the same thing. But this is actually like, hey, maybe there will be, heaven forbid, a time where I might have to use all of these.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, hey, here's one for every family member, myself.
And if you do, you have them.
Yeah. Like this is something I would never feel bad about owning. Like it's an insurance policy. That's my biggest thing I respond to people is, why do you have car insurance? You're going to go, like, do you plan on going out and like T-boning someone in the intersection? Like, you don't need that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What if someone hits me?
Yeah,
That's
you're
exactly right. Like, I don't plan on
you're
going around
fully
shooting
covered.
anybody, but what if somebody tries to shoot me?
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
for those of you just listening, he has a whole wall of
I would
a lot of
I would say this is an
guns.
exceptional wall of death.
Yes. Yeah, and it
You
actually
know that scene in Ace Ventura?
That's what I was thinking about.
This is a lovely room of death.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, yeah.
but no, like
I was gonna remake that. Just come in, like, just the copy and paste that into, like, I walk into my office or someone walks into my office and it just pans over to Ace Ventura. It's like, okay, now, bye now.
Yeah.
but actually even people watching, we don't have the camera pointed at the wall, but it's impressive.
Yeah. Well, the people watching have Instagram.
That's
and-
or listening. If you have Instagram, go to our fucking
Yeah.
Instagram, and
If you have a
there will be
phone-
a picture eventually.
Yeah. If you have a phone, oh, wait, it's not on YouTube. Never mind. Whatever.
Yeah, but no. Anyways, yeah. So like, and obviously with guns, politics going to come into play. It just does. Which
People, well, because people's egos, they want to make a point.
yeah,
And
and
I
like
have to make a standpoint, because if I don't, then who am I? I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost in the world. I don't have an ego. So I have to tie myself to something to take a stance.
yeah,
It's as simple as that. Because if you lack character development, then you don't know who you are and you have to attach yourself to something.
Yeah.
You know, schools these days aren't about character development. It's about social development. You know, when you're in first grade, hey, there's global warming. Like, let's worry about that later. You make better people, and those people make better decisions later on down the road. Or you can make shitty people and they can just start being activists. And that's kind of what we're seeing. You know, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. That's what we're seeing. Worry about the individual, and the individual as a collective. You make good individuals as a collective, they make better decisions.
Yeah.
We're not worried about the individual in society right now. We're worried about the collective from the get-go. And that's why we can't think for ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, a lot of the stuff, the way people vote and what they believe is based off of the knowledge of someone else. It's regurgitated information.
Yeah.
It's not factual knowledge or firsthand knowledge of, hey, this is why I don't like guns. I mean, think of all the people, and this is me personally. I've had conversations with people. You know, I visited Australia a few years back and had a conversation because they're kind of anti-gun down there.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, I told him I own a gun store, and then we got into this, not a debate, but a discussion. You know, it was a nice discussion. He was a cool dude about guns, and we just kind of put in our 2 cents. But a lot of the stuff he said was super non-factual. I'm like, a lot of the stuff you're repeating, I'm like, and I don't mean to be offensive here, but a lot of the stuff you're repeating is the same stuff I hear on the news or from people or data or statistics that are non-factual information, stuff that's been regurgitated that I'm sure you've heard from someone,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not true. Like, what you just said to me isn't true. Because if it was true, then it might be an issue, or then there could be some kind of debate, but that is not true by any means. And there's a ton of that going out where politicians just say all kinds of stuff, and we've all seen it. I mean, we all kind of make fun of it and repost it on our Instagram pages because it's hilarious. But that's the shit people are listening to. And somebody who doesn't know any better, doesn't have an experience with guns, that's what they believe it. They're like, because that makes sense.
Yep.
Right? I mean, AR-15s kill 10,000 people every single day, right?
Yeah.
No, like if you pull those data, that number, and I posted these stats on my Instagram page a while back, like AR-15s, the amount of people that are killed by AR-15s every day is like so tiny. I can't remember the number is, but literally like more people probably die like tying their shoelaces every morning.
Oh,
somehow.
for sure.
Like it's this super small fraction of a number. And the overall, obviously, the number one cause of death by guns is self-inflicted harm,
Yeah.
and suicide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and they count that in gun deaths.
Yeah, and it's counted in
Yeah.
gun deaths. And if they didn't have a gun, then it's like, oh, that person would not be dead. They would just be like, well, I guess I can't get myself today. I'm just going to go to the local IHOP and have a meal instead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
Like, no, they're going to go get in a car, or they're going to make a bomb, or, you know, there's
Yeah.
1,000 ways to kill yourselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
They'd have been blasting 8 balls, dude.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Or overdose, which is probably the number one form of
Yeah.
suicide, I would imagine.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so I'm saying that's what a lot of people do overdose. They do the 8 balls, the cocaine and heroin, take the edge off. Then, I got to come back up, some cocaine again, take the heroin the edge off, and then they're just, they're just fucking dead.
Well,
pretty
like
quick, you
I
know?
think like I grew up around guns and hunting and stuff, so I've always been comfortable around them. And I try to give people benefit of the doubt. Like if they grew up in LA, they probably haven't been around them that much, so I could see like being scared of what you don't know, but educate yourself on something, you know.
And that's last year with the new influx of gun owners. We've seen so many first-time gun owners come to Ready Gun, or last year, still to this day, this year in 2021. And people come in, they're kind of timid. They don't know what to ask. They don't want to feel stupid.
Yeah.
So we try to treat everybody with like, respect and be like, hey, we know you're new. We're not here to treat you like an idiot. Let's
Thank God.
talk about guns. Let's take you into the range, have you shoot some. And obviously we're not going to hand them some like fucking 50 AE Desert Eagle and be like, you should try this one out. No, it's like, you get them to feel a bunch and they're like, oh, this one's comfortable. This one's comfortable. I'm like, cool. We have all those on the rental. Let's go take you in and shoot them. And people actually, it's funny when you first see them shoot their first couple of rounds, they're kind of like, oh, like kind of timid and scared. And then as they get closer to the end of that magazine, they're like getting into it, loosening up, and you can just kind of see their demeanor change. It's freaking awesome. And then by the time they're done, they're like, man, that's a sweet gun. I want that one. And they got the smile on their face and the edge is off and they're not.
Well, I think that's what needs to happen is like you treat them like, okay, you're new at this. I'm not going to be an asshole to you, because the thing I worry about with the gun ownership going up is how many people are buying them that don't know what they're doing with them.
That is a concern, right? And that's why we push training like crazy. And I'm a business owner. We own a gun store. We do training here too. So when I'm like talking to people about you need to get training, I feel like people are like, this guy's just trying to sell me because he sells training courses, which isn't the case. I just don't want someone new out on the street representing my industry and then giving more ammo to the leftist politicians to be like,
they make,
this guy just bought a gun. Utah just passed the new concealed carry, like permitless law where you don't have to have a concealed carry permit. So now you can just go buy a gun and carry it on the street. Yeah. And this guy sees somebody and he, does something dumb. Yeah. And it's like, well, that just made us look dumb.
Yeah. It puts
or even worse than that. Like he gets killed or kills someone that's not supposed to,
Actually, last night in our neighborhood, apparently somebody's back window got shot out, which is crazy because we live in like pretty upscale neighborhood. And there's like this canal behind my house and like a walking path and all that. And some lady on my side, last night I heard it was pop, pop, pop. It was at like 11:30 last night. Like, what the hell was that? And my wife, she was up in our bonus room watching TV. I was laying in bed. She texted me. She's like, did you hear that? I was like, I sure did. She's like, that sounded like gunshots. I'm like, kind of did.
Yeah, I'm confused about maybe the angle or the type of glass. This is my nerd coming out in me because of the physics thing. But
what are you going to school for again?
No, astrophysics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a little nerdy.
we actually talked about that. With was it Mike? Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, just about like being able to just actually run those equations. Like, based on this muzzle velocity, barrel length, what's my time of flight going to be? Like, cool. I love that I can actually write this shit up versus just having to get the numbers, But was the radius, so the diameter was like 10 inches, like a 5-inch radius on this hole in the glass. I'm like, I haven't seen a whole lot of bullets make a 5-inch radius.
That's the first thing. It looked like a rock went through window.
But then again, it's not the front windshield of a car though. Yeah. This is just
it's a picture window.
It's a picture window.
Yeah, because we have this. There's a Facebook group for our neighborhood that everybody's on. Mostly it's just people bitching about stupid things. But after that happened last night, my first thought was like, if that was a gunshot, we'll hear sirens eventually. And our neighborhood's kind of out away from everybody. It's surrounded by farms. And then with that walking path I was talking about, I just see spotlights coming down the walking path. And it was a cop driving down the walking path. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit. Something is
I guess what I'm curious about is what makes that diameter of a
so
hole.
That's what I was going to get to. She posted a picture about 15 minutes later saying, if anybody heard anything, please let me know. And the hole is, it looks like a baseball went through the window. But those 3 pops sounded like a gunshot. So I don't know if it was.
Well, what's on the ends? Because obviously, if a bullet or something, there should be some
That's
kind
exactly
of point of impact somewhere else.
We had that
what
conversation.
Else is in there?
We were talking about that on the way here because that bullet would have lodged somewhere in her kitchen. That's where it was, in her kitchen.
So this happened to my brother-in-law. He had the neighbor next door was cleaning. It was a high caliber rifle. I can't remember the round, but it was like a 7mm or something pretty significant. And he was cleaning his basement. Obviously didn't unload it, didn't check, which is the first thing you do. Anyway, pulled the trigger. Shot it, went out his basement window through my brother-in-law's. He had a glass sliding door, through a sliding door, and the bullet ended up lodged in his door frame in his pantry.
Shit. Oh.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so obviously you can see it busted the window, the entry, and maybe it, it just took out more glass because it's like single pane non-tempered or something like that.
Well, there might be more to the story.
But then it's like that bullet should be somewhere in the house, at least not another hole somewhere if it's a bullet.
Yeah. And that was at like midnight last night when I saw her post. And
that's a good point.
They must have figured something out by now.
Because the more dense the glass, the smaller diameter hole you're going to have. Yeah. These are big picture windows.
This just reminded me, you talking about misfiring a gun like that. So we were probably like 23 years old, and I used to work on a ranch. We lived in this little ranch house, and we're all sitting around bullshitting. There was always a lot of guns in the house. My now brother-in-law, which
did he desk pop?
Oh, he desk popped too. So we're all sitting in the living room. We're all sitting in the living room bullshitting. And I think somebody got a new shotgun or something. There was a reason, and he was looking at it. And he's sitting in this little recliner. Our other friend, who was my boss on the ranch, is literally standing right next to him, standing. So his head's up here. And he's sitting there with the shotgun just butt on the floor, pulls the trigger, and it boom blows a hole through our ceiling right past my friend's head. My friend grabbed his head and fell to the floor, and we're like, oh my God, it just killed him. It didn't. It was just a blast.
Yeah.
Scared him back. And what's scary about that is that my brother-in-law, he's pretty like well versed with guns. Like he knows better.
It's complacency. I mean, anybody you get complacent, doesn't matter how much time you have on a gun.
Like an idiot. He felt so, and we all obviously gave him a lot of shit for years on that. But that was loud.
Really that's loud. What I'm saying. It's not like you have to get some training. You have especially as a first-time gun owner, you need to go through a class, learn how to clean that. That is like super not uncommon, like super common for people to be cleaning a gun.
Yeah.
And they didn't remove the magazine. I've even seen people where they we would see this in the chow hall, and I hate to say it, these are military guys. You probably saw this. So in the chow hall overseas, you got to go and you have your gun, you got to unload your magazine, and then you clear your gun, and then you got to pull the trigger in the little, what was it called, the fire barrel or the
clearing barrels.
The clearing barrel. Yeah. So you have a clearing barrel, you put your barrel in it, you pull the trigger to obviously get that, physical clear. And then you put the magazine in your pocket, that extra round in your magazine, put your magazine in your pocket, and you go have chow, right? And then when you come back out, you fucking load it back up again. I can't remember how many times overseas I would be waiting in this line, and you just be in this line and you hear, bow! Like somebody who didn't take out the source of ammunition, didn't take the magazine out of their M4 or their M16, whatever they had, and they wreck the charging handle, that round pops out, they think it's clear, another one just went right back in, put the gun in the firing barrel, and they shoot one. I'm not even going to say the gender. I saw a person literally do this 3 fucking times at the chow hall. They racked the gun back, took it off safe, pulled the trigger, boom, in the barrel. Oh shit, I guess it wasn't clear. Let me rack it again. Boom, in the barrel. Let me rack it again. Boom, and like 3 fucking times before the guy behind her. Oh, now I just gave it up. I gave it up. The guy behind her was like, stop. Let me take your magazine out, rack it. But but
the complacency, like you said, because it's still really common for someone to.
I didn't want to say the gender, because it's not.
Guys do it too.
Yeah, guys do it too.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive to women. It's guys, girls, everybody. Just happen to be a girl this time.
Yeah, but we're gonna say for percentage wise, there's more women in non-combat arms clearly. But we can say
that's a whole nother topic, right?
Yeah. But a lot of people, they clear it, cool, drop the mag versus dropping the mag and clearing it. That's the number one right there. They just clear it and drop the mag. It's because they're caught talking like, oh man, I can't wait to get these fucking cheese sticks.
Yeah.
Like fuck you. Eat some chicken breasts and go work out. like
Those mozzarella sticks they had overseas, those were pretty good.
I had some in Iraq when we went through Balad. Oh man. Like I was kind of envious because my deployments were the kind of deployments where we had the ODA cook and some other cook, and it was just these prepackaged bullshits. We lived like on a pot field in Afghanistan. Like, so it's like, you go to like Blod or you go to CAF on Afghanistan and you have like old blood on uniform and it's the best uniform you've got. And you just get checked by these fucking E7s walking around. Like, fuck you. Like we'd go in there and I always tell Jake, like, I kind of understand where these kids in Chicago and New York come from sometimes. Cause you go to a big base after, if it's, they would pick up weapons, resupply. And there is no rank structure. It's us and there's you. Get the fuck out of the way. You know what I mean? You see people smiling and you're like, I want to kill you. Why are you so happy? And you're like, you see like guys hang out with girls and you're like, I could fuck you up and take her if I wanted to. Like, you're just like very like tribal. It's really weird.
Back in 2007, 2008, I was in Ramadi, Al Assad, all these places. And that was actually the end of my deployment with Rangers. And then when I was over at the neck, I can't remember, we went and visited some fob just over by Baghdad somewhere, and they had like the little Connex boxes, like the Starbucks and the Burger Kings and like these big food chain restaurants that came in, and they're setting up who knows if it was even the same. It just had like the Starbucks logo. But I remember I was standing in line for my sexy latte that day because it was a rough day on the cat team. And we were standing in line. We were in our civvies because we were contracting, but we had like 15 soldiers, you know, in their fucking BDUs in front of us, or ACUs at the time. And I remember the lady opens up the little door from the little Starbucks Connex, and she's like, "Hey, we just ran out of caramel." And the person in front of me is like, "Fuck, I can't believe they can't fucking keep the caramel. Like, this is fucking bullshit." Like, she was pissed.
Yeah.
My buddy leans over to me. He's like, "War is hell."
Dude, oh,
Like,
green
you're
beans.
pissed off because you're in Baghdad and you can't get your caramel latte.
Yeah, green bean. That's what it was.
Though this was an actual Starbucks.
Oh, was it
yeah,
Starbucks?
they had a
Okay.
ton of green bean.
I fucking love green beans.
Yeah, that was Afghanistan was full of the green bean.
Yeah, I would go get like the quad mocha frappe with 2 scoops of protein. That was so good.
War is hell.
That's funny.
Oh, so anyway, I'm sure you obviously like. I love seeing like guys like Mike Glover, like Tim Kennedy, are doing these shooting courses. They're really in depth, and they're run by professionals. It's not some jackass. You know what I mean? I love these. I wish more people would do them, and I wonder if in the future, and if you're in support of it or not, because I think we should, you know, obviously have the right to do what we want to do as long as we can be intelligent. If we're going to see that be mandatory. Like, okay, if you want to, it's like getting a driver's license. Like, if you want to own an AR or a shotgun or something, you need to go to one of these courses first. And I wonder if that's going to be, I'm curious if something that'll be something that's mandatory at some point. You know what I mean?
Well, so I had this discussion with some of the local guys up here. I got a buddy who works up at Ballistic Magazine, and we were talking when Utah passed this, hey, you don't need a permit to carry anymore, because Utah, you always had to have the permit, and the permit to get this permit in Utah, keep in mind, it's 4 hours in a class. You don't have to shoot, you don't have to show proficiency. You have to sit in the class and listen to someone talk on a PowerPoint for 4 hours, and that's it. And they're like, here's your fucking permit. Now you can go carry. But at least now, you know, it's like, hey, you can't carry here, you can't carry this. Like, these are the things you should and shouldn't know. And every time you sit in that class, because I would kind of sit in and audit to the instructors and listen to what they're saying, you'd always have at the end of it, or even like people raise their hands in between things, ask questions like, hey, if I catch somebody breaking in my garage and they're stealing my bike, can I shoot them? And it's like, I mean, the instructor, obviously he does a good job. He's like, is your life in danger? Like, is he pointing a gun at you when you walk into him on the garage? Like, he asks questions. He's like, no. He's like, writing God, I'm just gonna shoot him in the back. Like, then no. The answer is no. But like, people answer or ask questions like that, where you're like nobody's getting that training. Like, those questions aren't being answered anymore. And I don't want this to come off as like, hey, I don't think we should have done that. Like, obviously, I think everybody should have the ability to carry, and there's obviously a lot of pros to someone being able to say, hey, I got a gun, I got to carry, because maybe there's something going on in their lives where like they need to start carrying immediately. You know. But at that point, it's like, get your gun and have it with you for whatever reason that may be. But at some point when you can, let's get you into some training so you know what you're doing, you know what you can and can't do, the laws of Utah. And obviously just the fact of like, hey, making you proficient with that gun and not making a liability out of you, but more so an asset in the world of having armed civilians out there, which I think is a great thing. I think the more armed civilians we have on the streets, the better we're going to be, the less crime and these stupid shootings you're going to see. But we need those people to be like, we need our army of trained, proficient, two-way people roaming the streets.
More good people with guns versus bad people with guns.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
more well-trained people.
You don't have to look like a redneck to be proficient with a gun.
Yeah.
You know, you can be a soccer mom wearing your Converse and fucking roll around and surprise some people, you know. And that's why it's about being a jack of all trades versus, again, oh, now that I'm good with weapons, I better have that ego. No. To be a jack of all trades, it's cool. Hide it. Don't let them know. Yeah. Just like, don't open carry in a fucking 7-Eleven, because if I walk up behind you, I'm going to take it from you and kill you with it.
Yeah. Or you're going to be the first person that gets shot up. Someone's like,
exactly.
Oh, that guy's got a gun. Let's take him out.
Well, like you were talking about people saying, you know, when can I shoot somebody? I think like uneducated people were super common. I remember as a kid hearing, oh, in Idaho, if they're on your property, it doesn't matter. You can shoot them. A sheriff told me this. And it's like, is that really the law? because I don't know. I still don't know.
It's not.
I mean, if he's
You
on your
know?
lawn and he has like a law rocket aiming at your house, then maybe.
Yeah, if you're
but-
in danger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember hearing that as a kid. Like it was probably like my mom or something. Like, oh yeah, a cop told me that even if you shoot him off your property, drag him back on the price. Like,
Yeah,
come on. Like
this
old
is,
wives'
this is an
tales.
Yeah.
unpopular conversation to have, and as a gun store owner, you know, obviously we're very pro 2A,
Yeah.
and I mean that's what we do,
Mhm.
right? We're about as pro 2A as it gets, but there are certain things that, again, to protect ourselves,
Mhm.
short of a fucking civil war, and everyone's like, oh, we just need to fucking overthrow the government. Okay, so short of that,
Good luck.
like let's have some kind of foundation of responsible fucking gun owners, and that's the biggest tool in our toolbox.
Yeah.
Is like, no, like we're responsible. We're not out just, you know, being a liability to our own cause and giving ammunition to the liberal cause to use against us. Like we need to have the training, the education to essentially say, hey, fuck you guys. If we want to carry, we're going to carry. We're responsible gun owners and we know what the fuck we're doing. Not like, hey, look, you guys are just going around shooting yourselves in the foot, causing more harm, shooting innocent people. Like,
well, I think that's another good place social media comes into play with guys like yourself, who you have a following on social media and you're proficient in firearms. People see that and they want to be that too. They want to be good with their tools. And I think like having guys like you and all the Black Rifle guys and all these guys who are all good with guns, they've carried them for a living, things like that. And then like the everyday person who is a gun owner or not sees that. I think it's kind of like motivating them to like want to have the proper training.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. There's a ton of people running courses. Like you said, Tim Kennedy, Mike Glover. Mike Glover runs a fucking awesome course, and he's just 30 minutes up the road here. There's so many good courses you can take. I mean, hundreds of awesome instructors.
Yeah.
That you could take a course from. That, I mean, those courses should all be booked out for the next 5 years.
We have a buddy in Boise that runs a training center, Andrew.
Oh, Andrew.
It's like, why wouldn't you want, like, not only is it like, are you going to have a fucking awesome time? Like, you're going to have a good time, and you're going to come out with a better sense of confidence with your gun. Obviously something that if you ever need that, you're going to be way more proficient in that task than not.
Well, and like I was saying, me being like, I'm the everyday guy. I did grow up around like hunting rifles and stuff like that, but Kevin's been my go-to guy for like proper handling of firearms. Like when we go shooting, I'm like, dude, teach me everything you can.
I know. It usually starts out with like, make sure it's not loaded. So look down the front of the barrel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
that's what
this,
you want to
Yeah.
do.
naturally.
Yeah. No, like I grew up going
But-
like shooting ranges and stuff, but like the proper way, like handling a pistol. I didn't grow up shooting pistols. It was always rifles.
Yeah.
So like I've learned a lot from you on pistols and stuff.
But that's
Yeah, and training shouldn't really ever end. Like,
Nope,
it's
I
not
agree.
like, hey, I went to a training course, I'm
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
I get Jared from Tier 1 Concealment. This is the guy, he can shoot a drop of water out of the air. Like, not exaggerating. Like, this guy will set up like a little like tea bag or something, like get it wet, hang it from a piece of wood, and it'll just kind of sit there and drip. And he can shoot those drops of water out of the air.
That's cool.
Or like I've seen him throw up like a quarter in the air. He can shoot it out of the air. I mean, this guy is probably one of the best shooters in the world with a handgun. This guy, he goes around, he travels, and he goes from course to course to course. He's doing a course almost every single weekend. And I talked to him. I'm like, so, hey, when you go to these courses, like, are you like, oh man, this is just a bunch of the same shit I already know? He's like, honestly, he's like, I probably learned something new in every class. He's like, a lot of it is pretty redundant, and those redundancies are the things that everyone needs to know.
Yeah.
And then there's little things that an instructor might show you. We're like, holy shit, I didn't know that. You know, that's actually some useful information. So it's a perishable skill. Like if you go to a course and you shoot, and you don't shoot for a while, that skill is going to diminish.
Yep.
So it's something you either got to practice on your own or keep up your education with courses. And
Yeah, everything's a stepping stone, man. Again, it goes back to ego. Let it go and continue to be a student. You know, you can only get better. You know, to where things are habits, just the habits of, you know, treating every weapon like it's loaded, right?
Yeah.
Just how am I going to handle this? Where am I going to point it? How am I going to clear this? How am I going to do a function check? It should just be natural at some point.
Yeah.
You know, if you do it enough, and that's just the bare bones right there.
And not everybody grows up around them. Like I was saying, like there is ways for them to get educated because there's a lot of people, like you said, out there educating people on it.
Yeah.
Like my oldest son, because my kids haven't grown up with guns. I haven't hunted since they've been around. So, and other than me, like they know I go out and shoot sometimes, but they haven't gone yet. And my 13-year-old just the other day was asking me, he's like, hey, when I get a little older, you think, I was like, how about this summer? Like, you want to go out? I'm like, I'm sure Kevin would go with us. We can go out and he was so excited. The look on his face, like I can shoot a real. I'm like, yes, dude.
Yeah.
Because I don't want my kids either to think they're taboo. Because I think that's where people run into problems too. It's like alcohol. You have alcohol in the house. You're not allowed to touch it. What's the first thing you want to do? It's drink that alcohol. And I think guns are similar.
Yeah. And I mean, the media's created such a fear about guns. We got to take that away.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it doesn't have to be a scary thing.
No.
They're not a scary thing if you know what you're doing.
It can be a fun thing. It can be a life-saving thing. It can be a lot of things.
There's a dichotomy between some people fearing picking a gun up. Mine is fearing leaving it at the chow hall. Like, where the fuck is my rifle? Like, where people like that guy who made a video a few years ago, like, I have PTSD after he fired an AR.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you shouldn't be terrified to pick it up. You should be terrified of hurting the wrong person with it. Be safe. Be trained,
Yeah.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, man. Well, I think actually we're almost at an hour. I know you had some other stuff to do, so I don't want to hold you here too long.
I just sit here all day, man.
But
no, I got the guy from CZ coming in.
Yeah, so we can wrap it up. So where can people find you? All your social media, all that.
Yeah, so personal social media is just like we talked about, at Neal, Neal. That's it. Ready Gunner is Ready Gunner at Ready Gunner, and those are kind of Ready Gunner is our main page. Obviously, if you want gun stuff, that's a page to follow. If you want to follow my boring ass life, it's just Neal.
See you and your 80 kids.
Yeah, me and I just bought a new van. So when you have 6 kids, there's like 3 cars you can choose from. It's like, do you want the Sprinter van, the Ford Transit, or like a fucking short bus? Like, I'll take the Transit.
Yeah, you got your hands full, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of kids. But yeah, so cool. Well, we appreciate you letting us come into your office. And
yeah, I'm glad you guys made the trip. I hope it was, again, I feel like you guys drove so far. I need to take you to dinner or something. Or like,
no, dude, I was just excited. Like I said, I've seen this place on social media for so many years.
Yeah.
I'm like, even just pulling up outside, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, it was cool to see it in person.
I'll give you the tour.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Well,
appreciate you guys having me on.
Anything else from you, Kevin? You good?
No. Love you. Bye.
All right. See ya.